Um, a little bit of background on why we're here today. The Strategic Enrollment Management Task Force, which consists of members from all of the colleges, VPs, deans, directors, managers, foundation members, and everything. We believe that colleges needed to know and have information about CRMs. We're getting a lot of questions about CRMs. And so some colleges are using different vendors, different platforms. And so we're getting calls and questions about what's the best platform, who should we use? And so we decided to have a few sessions with our prominent vendors. We love to have you here around CRM platforms. And so today we wanted to invite Watermark to come and give an overview of what they have to offer the community college system. Because we've seen so many great things from them, we're really excited to see what they're going to talk about today. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to back away, put myself, take my mic off, put myself on mute, take the screen off, and I'm going to hand it over to Watermark right now. So it is your floor.
Awesome. Hello, everyone. Thanks for joining us today. And obviously, thank you to Dr. Hickman for those kind words and also for inviting our team to present to all of you today. I'm looking and scrolling through the list and I see so many familiar names. I can't see everyone's faces for some reason, but hopefully I get to see those as well. But it's always a pleasure to get to present to the North Carolina Community College System schools. Obviously, many of you know we work so closely and have formed so many amazing partnerships across the state. And as Watermark now, we work with 51 of the 58 North Carolina community colleges. So we're really excited to be here today. As Dr. Hickman indicated, we'll be covering Watermark's Student Success and Engagement Solution, which many of you know formerly as a VISO. And we'll be covering our most recent enhancements that now allows our solution to help support students throughout the student life cycle, from prospective student, from your recruitment efforts to enrollment and retention. So we appreciate all of you taking time out of your busy schedules. As I mentioned earlier, before some of you jumped on, that we know your semesters are winding down and are really excited to share all of these recent updates with you. So just a few notes of housekeeping. As Dr. Hickman indicated, this is being recorded, and I'm sure he'll share with all of you. And throughout the presentation, we certainly welcome your questions. Feel free to add those in the chat, and we'll do our best to get to them. And we'll also save some time at the end for questions. We'll try to be efficient here so that way we can get you done and off to lunch here in an hour. So let's go ahead and jump into introductions. Again, thanks for joining us today. My name is Heather Tainer. I serve as the Vice President for Student and Customer Success here at Watermark for our Student Success and Engagement product. Again, you'll probably hear us today refer to it as SSNE. Even it's the short name for Student Success and Engagement. And obviously, many of you already know us prior to our integration with Watermark as a VISO. So if you say a VISO, or if you hear us say a VISO, please give us some grace, because we're all working on making sure we use the new terminology. But I've been part of the VISO Now Watermark team, gosh, for over 10 years. And I work closely with our college partners, all of you, many of you in the state of North Carolina, to ensure all of you are set up for ongoing success with enrollment, advising, student success, really aligning those practices with the use of technology, predictive analytics, and best practices in that proactive and transformational holistic student support. And as I mentioned earlier, I've worked very closely with the great state of North Carolina, very near and dear to my heart with the community colleges. I started working with our first North Carolina community college partner over 10 years ago. And from then, we've worked closely with many of the North Carolina community college schools, with the First in the World project, with many of you that are even on the line today. And most recently, we just wrapped up our Minority Male Success initiative through the Early Alert project with the 11 of the North Carolina Community College schools. So with that said, I have a great team of presenters today that are going to be presenting on our student success and engagement functionality. So first of all, I want to invite Dr. Beverly Watts to do a quick introduction, who is participating today to help provide us some insight from McDowell Tech.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Beverly Watts. I'm Dean of Student Success at McDowell Technical Community College here in the foothills of North Carolina, and I'm honored to be here with such a fantastic team to help share what I have learned about Aviso/Watermark through this last year. We implemented in January, so we're relatively new at this, but I want to be able to share what we have learned and how we're using it. So I'll do that a little bit later today.
Thank you so much, Dr. Watts. We appreciate our partnership with McDowell Tech, and of course, we appreciate you and all of your hard work as well. I'm also joined by two of my colleagues who will be doing the majority of the presentation today. So, McCool, I'll pass it over to you to do an introduction.
Sure. Hi, everyone. My name is Mukul Sundarajan. I'm the Director of Engineering for the Student Success and Engagement product here at Watermark. I've been, I was with Aviso for many years, prior to this transition, and now I'm playing a similar role at Watermark, kind of heading up our product and technology space around student success and engagement. Super excited to be here with you today and to show you some of the things that we're that we've been working on in the enrollment to advising to graduation space.
That's awesome.
Alex,
McCool. Oh, McCool, I'm sorry. I'll kick it over to Alex here, but McCool, we're so fortunate to have you on the team. And I really like this. All of you give me the information, you share it with us, all our customers, and him and his team put all the great work behind the scenes together to make it work so smoothly. So we'll pass it over to Alex. Alex, go ahead and do an introduction, and then you can go ahead and get us kicked off.
Okay, perfect. Good morning, everyone, and thank you, Heather. My name is Alex Leader. I'm the Chief Impact Officer here at Watermark. Prior to Watermark, I know many of you, but prior to Watermark, I spent majority of my career building Aviso. I was the CEO as well as the founder of Aviso Retention. And so student success, as well as how we talk about the life cycle, it's all very, very important, very close and dear to my heart. And so I look forward to being able to share really what we've been working on over the last year, some of which we're unveiling really for the first time today with you all, as you can start to imagine how the SS&E solution can help support you end to end. So with that, I do want to spend just a few minutes to level set a bit on who Watermark is for those that maybe aren't familiar. So my role as Chief Impact Officer, I'm really tasked with the responsibility of bringing together this vision of Watermark, both on the institutional effectiveness side of the house, as well as the student success side of the house. And so at Watermark, essentially, if we look at this slide, we believe education is more than a certificate or a degree. It's simply the path to a better future. And we believe that IE, as well as SS, you may hear me refer to it as that, but student success, are both symbiotic in ensuring that students earn and realize positive outcomes. We're constantly innovating. Our goal is to give higher education the insights they need to improve, evolve, and really empower student success at the end of the day. And so Watermark sits in a unique position. McCool, if you forward to the next slide, Watermark sits in a really unique position to make a substantial impact with you across higher education, both within IE and student success. So we're a trusted partner supporting over 1,700 institutions across the nation and worldwide. And in fact, of that 1,700, 95+% of those are here within the United States. So we work with approximately 40% of all of higher education here within the US. That includes 52% of all SACS accredited institutions and 84%, as Heather mentioned, of the 58 institutions there within the community college system in North Carolina. So when we start to think about what student success is and really what it should be, we're sincerely appreciative of all of you and the feedback that you've helped provide. And so when you think about Watermark, we really separate our solutions into 3 groups, and then we're going to zoom into student success and engagement today. But of those 3 groups, we support continuous improvement, organizational alignment, and student success. And so when you start to think about student success at the highest level, it really cross-cuts all of these groups or these categories. For example, our planning and self-study solution allows you to measure progress toward accreditation, while tracking student outcomes at the program and course level. Our course evaluations and surveys solution allows you to capture student feedback to enhance your learning experience or the learning experiences of those students, and in the future to help proactively engage learners when they need your help. We also want to celebrate the impact of faculty through documented accomplishments and ensure that the curriculum supports outcomes that align with market opportunities. And so this is our vision of student success, both on the institutional effectiveness side and the student success side, working together to ensure that we're staying ahead of the curve collectively as a team, offering learning experiences that are second to none, while student success is what helps keep students on track, both prior to and during enrollment. So your strategic plan probably almost directly aligns, in many cases, the objectives do, with these different categories and the solutions within our suite, all of which gives you the KPIs that you need to ensure you're on track and on point as an institution. So now if we zoom into student success and engagement, which is really where we're focusing today, we know it's not for just students after they enroll. We know we have to start supporting students prior to enrollment. So over the last decade, we've been really understanding those gaps that exist. Heather mentioned the First in the World effort, the Minority Male Success Initiative, more recently with partnering with McDowell Tech as well as the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation to really understand and lean in to addressing this prospect to enrollee challenge that exists. And so what we've learned and what we've heard from you is that your teams need to be able to have greater efficiency in your daily activities. It's no secret that folks are leaving higher education, and then student expectations have increased really since COVID. And so it's created this gap in expectation versus what can reasonably be delivered each and every day. And so we think the answer isn't more technology. We have enough of that, right? It's when you think about more data integration, more training, more vendors, more fees, more. We actually believe something different. We believe the answer is building capabilities into solutions you already own and have adopted, allowing everyone in the institution a single unified view of a student from prospect to enrollee and beyond. All while ensuring that each department can create their own area of focus within the tooling to remove the noise, if you will, of the work that other departments are doing to allow your team to focus on what they do best. And so today we're going to explore three personas: Ava Admissions, who is the Director of Admissions, Olivia Student, who is a prospective student, and Brent Advisor, who's a lead advisor at the college, responsible for his caseload as well as a small team of advisors. So let's take a look at gaps that traditionally exist when we have these individuals focused on the life cycle. So Ava is first, right? She's currently receiving contacts from multiple sources, some in spreadsheets, some in notes. She's going through the lead capture process, maybe an import from ACT. She's checking many locations each and every day, and then trying to compile all of that together for her team to do outreach. And then each month, Ava is asked to produce data on which lead sources are generating the most activity. And she's also providing information and KPIs right up to the president, who's closely watching the institution's budget and the current economic climate. Now, Brent, on the other hand, he's the advisor that we just saw. He wakes up each and every morning, leaps out of bed, right? Jumps out of bed. His entire mission is to drive student success, ensuring that students are registered for the right courses, they have the appropriate resources, they're assigned, that he is managing efficiently the many students that he has on his caseload. However, when he meets a new student, Olivia in this case, he knows that Olivia has met with Ava prior, but he doesn't see any notes, doesn't have access to the system that admissions uses. So he can only, during the student intake, he asks many of the same questions that he's sure have already been answered by Olivia. And so he can only imagine her eye rolls as he's having to ask those questions. Now, Olivia, on the other hand, she's reached out to the college for information. She gets a packet of 13 steps that she has to follow, but she doesn't receive a phone call as follow-up. She's a first-gen student and doesn't know where to turn for help. So after many days, she figures out the CFNC process and submits her application, fingers crossed that she completed it correctly. When she meets Brent for the first time, those eye rolls turn really into deep sighs. You mean I have to repeat myself for a third time? The term starts in 3 days. What am I to do? So these are the gaps and these are these key moments that we recognize, you recognize, where the student experience isn't what it should be. And so we can't continue to perpetuate these data silos that exist. And for us, the answer to solve the problem is through solution consolidation, data integration that's already proven across your system, a cohesive set of tools that work together to support both continuous improvement and student success, as well as a large community of active peer institutions there within the state. So that's the way we're thinking and approaching this problem. So now let's explore how these gaps are addressed. And so with that, I'd like to turn it over to Mukul, whom you met earlier, to describe what we've been working on in partnership with you. Mukul?
Thank you, Alex, and hello again, everyone. So Alex, I love that timeline picture of the prospect to enrollment and all those little gaps that can exist. In fact, I'm gonna go back to it because I just really love this picture. You know, you've got all of these stages throughout the student life cycle, and in each one of these gaps, there's an opportunity to fall through the cracks. Our job is to close those gaps as much as we possibly can to make them as tight as possible, so that the student experience throughout that entire life cycle is just really clean, really seamless. And so today, before we dive into the nitty gritty of the actual tool, of the actual enrollment tool, the CRM, all of that, we wanted to take just a few minutes to talk about the philosophy behind what we build. So over the last decade of collaborating with all of you in North Carolina, with the Gates Foundation, First in the World, many others, we've learned so many lessons about the challenges that we all face in higher ed. And as we learn these lessons, we try to distill them down into a core set of tenets that serve as sort of the foundation of what we build. And as we're building product, as we're doing the engineering work, as we're doing the design work, we're really kind of driving forward with these things in mind. So again, before we dive into the clicking around in the tool and clicking on all the nice new features and showing everything, I wanted to talk about some of those core tenets. So the first one is visibility. Now, visibility is really about allowing everyone at your institution to have a view into the scope of activity within any given process. So you might have an enrollment process. So visibility is ensuring that everyone at your institution who cares about enrollment can look at that process and see what's going on. They can see what work is currently in flight, what items might be getting stalled, where staff members are overloaded, and it helps us to kind of adjust and adapt our strategy, both short and long term. So having this visibility into what's going on within all of our processes really helps drive all of that kind of continuous improvement. Case management. Case management is making sure that every student or every prospect, every opportunity we have to make a difference is the responsibility of some individual. Now, that individual might not be the person doing all the work, right? All of this stuff is a team effort, but someone has been designated as responsible for the success of the effort. And that person has a clear view into all of their current responsibilities. Communication is really about the channels that we use to perform outreach. And this includes point-to-point messaging, such as email, SMS, two-way communication, as well as campaigning that is aware of the quality of our engagement with our prospective students or our students. Assessment is about understanding how effective our processes are. Right? So are we doing the right things? We know what goals we've set for ourselves. Are we achieving them? Are we not achieving them? And if we're not, where are we failing to convert? Right? Where are things kind of falling through the cracks, or where are we not having the success that we're looking for? We can take this information to measure kind of the efficacy of our process. And then we can use it to do continuous improvement and adjustment against that process. And again, measure the improvement that we see, or not improvement that we see, right? So we can kind of see what exactly is going on as we make changes. Are we getting the results that we want or not? And then finally, alongside all of these is automation. Now, automation really helps achieve two things. It of course helps to alleviate, kind of boilerplate manual tasks, but it also helps to ensure that the process that we're in is executed consistently and without gaps. So by eliminating the need for manual work, we decrease the likelihood of process errors. This picture again, I like this picture too, is really about what are the core pillars that support what we're building. So we're going to dive into a demo and we're going to take a look at, again, all of the nitty gritty of it, but it's all found, the foundation of all of it rests on these 5 things. So let's take a deeper look to kind of set the stage for some terminology and some understanding of how what we're going to see today in our product demo ties back into these into these tenets. So if we look at visibility again, what you're seeing here is called a pipeline. And in SS&E, you can define any number of pipelines, each of which corresponds to a process at your institution. When you define a pipeline, what you're doing is specifying an ordered set of stages, and each stage represents some milestone or activity in the process. Each card that you see in these stages, or each item, is called an opportunity, and it represents some work in progress within the process. Work in progress within the process, too many words that sound the same. But in this example, what we're looking at is a recruiting pipeline. Right? In fact, it's the fall 2023 nursing recruits pipeline. So this is the pipeline that we're using to represent the process for enrolling students into our fall 2023 nursing program. And by looking at this pipeline, we can see that each opportunity represents a prospective student, and we have full visibility into the active scope of this effort across all staff members, and we're able to use this to see where are we getting bottlenecks? Where are opportunities kind of stacking up? Where can we be more efficient? Do we need to reassign work to other people? Do we need to alleviate work on some individual? We can see exactly what's going on within this process, and we can use that to make the appropriate moves in order to get as many of these prospective students into the successful enrolled stage. Case management. Here we see the same pipeline that we saw before, the fall 2023 nursing recruits pipeline. But we can also see that as we work opportunities, we're going to go into an individual opportunity and assign it to an individual. Here we're going to assign this opportunity to Ava Admissions. Okay? And so now Ava Admissions is able to go into this pipeline and scope it down to just her work. Okay? So we're going to go in, we're going to filter this pipeline down to Ava Admissions, and as we zoom back out, we'll see that now as Ava Admissions, I'm looking at a pipeline that represents all of the work that I need to do. Right? So if I'm Ava Admissions, this is the set of work that I'm responsible for. Right? There's no ambiguity as to what I need to do on a day-to-day basis. I need to move these people from prospects to inquiries to applicants, all the way through to enrolled. When we look at communication, communication takes many forms, but one of the most compelling is campaigns. So we can enroll prospects or students into campaigns directly from pipelines. And so what we're going to see here is that the as we're working on these as we're working on these prospects, we can enroll them into a campaign. And in this case, campaigns are a little bit special. So we'll enroll Olivia into the nursing teaser campaign to try and compel her to enroll for one of the nursing one of the nursing classes in fall of 2023. And we can see that as we enrolled Olivia into this campaign, she was added to the list. But these campaigns are a little bit special. And you're probably all familiar with standard email campaigns that track the recipient's interaction with the email itself. So these are things like sent numbers, bounces, opens, clicks, and things like that. But because of SS&E's tight integration with other tools, these campaigns are what we call outcome-aware campaigns. So in other words, they go beyond the email and detect whether the recipient has actually taken the specific action that we wanted them to take, whether that's scheduling a meeting, submitting an application, enrolling in a specific term, enrolling in a specific course. These outcomes can be configured in the campaign, and then we can use the campaign to track how effective our communication actually is. We can use it to determine who have we actually successfully compelled to take this action and who have we not. Assessment. Assessment was the fourth of those tenets, and it's critical for continuous improvement. And this is something that internally, when I and my team are talking about product, we're constantly hammering on how do we enable continuous improvement within the tooling that we offer. So what we're seeing here are funnel charts. Right? They're funnel charts against the fall 2023 nursing recruits pipeline. And by using these, we can understand how work moves through the process. So you might have seen just now that we can rearrange the order of the stages to determine where opportunities are converting and where they're failing to convert. And then with this information, we can adapt our process over time and observe any improvements or declines in efficacy. All right, so as I said, I wanted to kind of set the stage a little bit, introduce some new terminology, and kind of introduce you to how we think about and what our philosophy is around the CRM product. So with that, I'd like to switch over to our live environment. And if I can figure out how to switch my screen, I will do so. All right, there we go. All right, so I am currently logged in to Student Success and Engagement as a user named Ava Admissions, who you met a little bit earlier. Right? So you can see here in my profile picture, I'm logged in as Ava Admissions. And what we're looking at here is my dashboard. This is what I'm greeted with when I first log into SSNE. You'll notice that over here, I am in the recruit space at the top right. I'm in the recruit space because I'm a recruiter, because I'm an admissions officer and I'm responsible for recruiting. Whoops, sorry, I shouldn't have clicked that. So because I'm responsible for recruiting, I'm going to land in this recruit space. So the dashboard that you see here is set up with these quick hit widgets that give me insight into how we're doing with admissions and recruiting. And these are custom reports that I can build against any data in my system, and I can configure my my dashboard to really show me the relevant information. Okay. So the first thing that I wanted to do was navigate into our people section. So I'm going to go over into our prospects, and in here, these are all of the prospects that exist in Student Success and Engagement. For those of you who might not be familiar with the SSNE tool, one of the most critical features is called filters. It's the ability to build filters within SSNE. And what you're doing when you build a filter is you're creating a population. You're defining a set of people that belong to a specific population. So here I've got an example of a filter, right? This Grandview High School recruits filter. And if we look at this filter, we'll see that the way it's configured is it's the population of prospective students who attended Grandview Local High School. You can see in this big long list here, there's a whole suite of things that you can use to build populations. But in this case, I'm mostly interested in those students who attended Grandview Local High School. Maybe I'll filter them down to those people who attended Grandview High School from certain date ranges. But at the moment, this is my population of students who has attended Grandview High School. So if we step back for a second, there's going to be diverse processes that exist at every institution. And really, almost every single one of these processes caters to one or more populations of students or prospective students. Okay? So we're going to have processes that are dedicated to, as we saw earlier, nursing recruits. Okay? We're going to have processes that are dedicated to open enrollment recruits. We're going to have processes that are dedicated to nursing students in their advising pipeline. So we can use these filters to create populations and then feed these populations into the appropriate tools. Right. So, like I said, as Ava Admissions, I've defined a population called Grandview High School recruits, and set that up so that it automatically stays up to date with every prospective student in the system who attended Grandview High School. Right? Now, how did these prospects get into the system? There's really three main ways. The first two are manual direct creation within SSNE. Okay? So I can go in here and I can create a new prospect within the system by filling out this form. And I can attach any phone numbers, any addresses, and any high schools that are associated with the prospect. I can also do a bulk upload. So if I have a spreadsheet, I can upload that spreadsheet directly into the system and have it automatically create all of the prospects that exist in that spreadsheet. And finally, I can automate my creation of prospects by using the SS&E integration tool. If you are an SS&E user, you might be familiar with the integration tool as it integrates with your student information system. But it can also integrate with really any other system that you have, including those systems that capture prospect information. So any prospect capture system that you might have today that you like and want to keep, you can continue using. Any application system that you have today that is, that's pretty deeply embedded, you can continue using. And you can use that integration tool to kind of seamlessly feed the prospect and applicant data into student success and engagement. All right, so let's step back for a sec, put my AVA admissions hat back on. So we had this event at a local Grandview high school. Right? So we went to the Grandview High School. We got these recruits. They came into the system, and that's where these 45 prospective students came from. Let's say there was one more who, just for the sake of this demo, she missed the event, and we want to directly add her. So we'll go in here. We'll fill out our form. So let's say that her name is Olivia Prospect. And well, I'll just make something up here. And because I don't have another email address, apparently Olivia Prospect also works at Watermark Insights and has a Watermark Insights email address. I'm going to attach the Grandview High School to her because I know that that's where she currently attends, and I'm going to save. So now when I do so, I'll see that a new Olivia Prospect record has been created. Right? So she's now in the system, and you'll see that she is also now added to the Grandview High School recruits filter. So again, the way to reason about this is that filters correspond to populations. In this case, our population consists of those students who attended Grandview High School. All right, so let's pop over to pipelines. Right? So if we go over to pipelines, we'll see that in the recruit space, we have two pipelines. Right? We have an open enrollment pipeline, and this is really the funnel that represents my open enrollment into this institution. Right? We also have this nursing pipeline. This nursing pipeline represents our limited admission funnel into our nursing program. So if I pop open this this open enrollment funnel, let's take a look at a couple of things here. We'll notice that when I created this pipeline, I was able to specify a filter. And remember that a filter corresponds to a population. By specifying this filter, what I've done is I've basically said that anyone, over time who enters into this population should automatically get added into this pipeline. So anytime I add a new prospect that attended Grandview High School, they're going to automatically get dropped into this pipeline and automatically moved through the open enrollment process. And this is a really critical kind of item to understand because the way this stitches together is that you have a population of people. That population of people moves into a specific process, which is why we need multiple pipelines. And inside of that specific process, we work each of those prospective students through the stages, and then we eventually get them to the successful result. And so if we take a look now at this pipeline, we will see that Olivia Prospect is not yet in it. Right? And that's because the schedule that I've configured for this pipeline runs once a day. So I'm going to manually trigger that schedule. Okay? And now when we look at our pipeline, we'll see that Olivia Prospect now shows up as a card. She shows up as an opportunity that is ready to move through the fall 2023 open enrollment funnel. Right? This is a process, and Olivia has qualified for this process, and now we can do some work with her. So let's drill in a little bit here. If we take a look at Olivia Prospect, we will see that she's in this funnel. She has a stage of prospect, and now we can start doing some work. But first, I'm going to assign Olivia's Prospect to myself. Okay. So I'm going to assign Olivia Prospect to AVA admissions. And again, when I go back here, we'll see that now Olivia Prospect has an assigned person. Again, this is important because it helps us make sure that we know who is responsible for Olivia Prospect. It also is important because it helps me as AVA admissions know what work I am responsible for within this process. All right, so let's say that we've started to engage with Olivia Prospect. So I'm Ava Admissions and I'm engaging with Olivia Prospect. I'm going to start doing a couple of things with her, right? So I'm going to do some outreach to her so I can communicate with her with point-to-point messaging. So I can communicate with her over email. I can communicate with her over text message. And these are both bi-directional messaging. So, you know, she can respond to me and that information will come back into student success and engagement. Importantly, there's also this log message option at the bottom here. By clicking log message on this message thread, what will happen is all of the communication that's happening within this thread between me as Ava and Olivia is going to get stored into Olivia's profile. And it's going to then be available for everyone else at my institution to see. Okay? Obviously, if it's private, I would choose not to log the message and it would remain private between Olivia and myself. So I can do messaging, I can take notes. So as I am doing things with Olivia and I am, you know, discovering information about her, I might want to, you know, keep a record of that. So let's say that I had a conversation with Olivia and I said that, you know, Olivia is interested in the, you know, plant pathology program, but she is concerned about her biology grades. And so I might take this note because this is information that I've captured about Olivia. Right? And then when I take that note, it's going to appear in Olivia's profile. And we'll see a little bit later that this information is going to persist across Olivia's entire life cycle. We can also do things like create alerts. I wanted to touch on alerts because they're a pretty sophisticated tool that's heavily used on the advising side. What you can do is you can create custom alert reasons. Right? So here in the recruit space, I've got a technology assistance alert reason. When I choose that reason, it'll automatically notify the person I've configured that's able to help with technology assistance. Right? So in this case, I've you know, throughout the system, I've configured Chris Morales as a person that can help with technology assistance alerts. So if I create an alert that says Olivia has had trouble with the, you know, FAFSA website, and I create that alert, Chris Morales is going to get notified of this and can in turn do outreach and work with Olivia to figure out what help she needs. We can see on the profile that this alert has been created, and so if I'm, you know, Chris or anyone else that can help, I can come in here and I can close out this alert. I can say I had a phone call with Olivia, and we worked through the website. And I'll close out that alert, and the record of this happening continues to exist. So the alerts gave us two core pieces. One is that they gave us the person that can help. So they gave us a notification to Chris Morales who could help with this effort. And it left a record of this issue that Olivia had, so that anyone in the future can come back and see that Olivia initially had trouble with the FAFSA website. All right, so we've been engaging with Olivia for a while. She's decided to apply. So maybe we move Olivia to the applicant stage. Now, we can do this automatically or we can do this manually. You just saw me do it manually because let's say I just discovered that Olivia decided to apply, so I'm moving her to the applicant stage. We can also wait for an application to actually be created and configure this so that it automatically moves Olivia to the applicant stage upon that creation. But again, we've got Olivia into the applicant stage. This is an open enrollment situation, so Olivia is automatically going to move to the admit stage. And the next thing that we have to do with Olivia is schedule an advising meeting with her. We need to get a meeting with Olivia so that she can figure out what classes she needs to enroll in. So one of the ways in which we can do this is by enrolling Olivia within a campaign. So I've got a campaign set up over here called the Open Enrollment Admissions Meeting Campaign. And you can see there's already a whole bunch of people within this campaign. What this campaign sends is something that looks like this. This is just a template, you know, it's a template of what the recipients will receive. So I've created this campaign and I've configured this campaign to wait for the outcome of a meeting. So if I enroll, again, I'm doing it manually here, but we can automate this as well. If I enroll Olivia into this campaign, that was called the Open Enrollment Admissions Meeting Campaign. Okay. When I do so, we will see that, whoops, that's not what I meant to do. Olivia gets added to this campaign. I accidentally sorted, so that's... Sorry, my list is too long and I clicked the wrong thing. Anyway, so we added Olivia to this campaign, and she's been added and has received this notification. If you were looking at my email, if you recall, I put my email in as Olivia's email. I just received that email. So so now that she's been enrolled in this campaign, she's of course going to go through all these flows. She's going to get sent the message. We're going to detect whether it was successfully delivered. We're going to detect whether she opened the message. But one of the interesting things that's going to happen as well is that if I go back into Olivia and I just create this meeting for her. So if I say prospecting me, and we say, scheduled a meeting for, December 9th at, 9:15. When I go and create this meeting, what's going to happen is that the campaign will automatically recognize that this meeting was created and move Olivia into the success state. Right? So this meeting has successfully been created. Right? Olivia has done what she needed to do. We've scheduled this meeting together. And now you'll notice that my meeting scheduled count went up to 1. And Olivia is shown as having scheduled her meeting, and that counts as a success on this campaign. So again, this ties back to what we talked about earlier with outcome-aware campaigns. Okay. All right. So if I hop back into my pipelines, I've been doing some work with Olivia. I'm going to switch back to my card view here. So I've been doing some work with Olivia, and things have been going well. We just saw that we had our advisor meeting, and now let's say we get her to enrolled. Right? So great, Olivia has gotten to the enrolled state, which means that she has successfully moved through this process. Okay? So let's take a look at our analytics. We talked earlier about assessments, and this is that screen that we looked at earlier, where we can see the fall through rate of each stage. So we can see the conversion rate from prospect to inquiry. We can see the conversion rate from inquiry to applicant. Let's say that what we really care about is just the conversion rate from prospect to enrolled. I can move my enrolled stage up here, and I can see I had 46 prospects, 3 of them enrolled. Okay? But let's say I want to also understand my movement of the process from prospect to applicant to enrolled. Okay? I can move my applicant stage up, and I can see that my conversion rate from my prospect to my applicant it's okay, but my conversion rate from my applicant to enrolled is not so great. Okay? This might tell me that, hey, I need to make some changes in the way that I'm doing outreach to people who have applied but who have not yet enrolled. And we can use this information to make decisions about how we adjust our process. So given this information, I might say that, hey, we need to change up the campaign, the enrollment campaign that we use to send to applicants. All right. So like I said, Olivia successfully got through this process. We've gotten her into the enrolled state. And now let's say some time has passed. So we are in the midst of, fall 2023. We're about halfway through. Olivia's, happily taking her classes. I'm going to switch personas here off screen. And so I'm going to log in as a different user named Brent Advisor. And once I figure out my screen share here, I'm going to come in as Brent Advisor, and we'll notice that you can see here that I'm now logged in as Brent. We'll notice that this time I'm not in the recruit space. I automatically got placed in the advise space because Brent is an advisor. He's not an admissions officer. Okay? So from the advise space, you can see my dashboard is completely different, and it's really catered towards advising rather than recruiting. Okay? So as Brent, if I come into my pipelines now, we'll see in the advise space, I have different pipelines, and I've set up one pipeline in advise, which is a re-enrollment pipeline. So this is for students that that I'm trying to re-enroll for the next term. So again, if we come back to filters and populations, we'll notice that our filter here is different from the filter that we used in our previous pipeline. The filter or the population that we're using now are all of those students who enrolled in fall of 2023, but did not enroll in spring of 2023. Okay? So, as I'm looking at this pipeline, I'm actually going to step back for a second. So let me me come back to kind of close the gap a little bit here on how we went from Ava to Brent. So I'm going to come back to my Ava environment. And I will be back in my recruit space. So one of the things that has happened at this point is that as Olivia moved into the enrolled stage of this pipeline, it's likely that she started coming into our system via our student information system as well. So we've got this Olivia prospect record here. Right? And if we drill into this Olivia prospect record, we're going to see all of the information that we collected about Olivia Prospect. We're going to see the alert that we created about her during the recruiting process. We're going to see the notes that we created about her. We're going to see the meetings that we scheduled with Olivia. But now that Olivia has come in from the student information system as well, we want to connect these two things together, and we can do this automatically. We can define duplicate detection rules and automatically merge users. For the purpose of this, I'm going to show you how it can be done manually. So I'm going to click this merge button, and it turns out that Olivia did come in from the student information system, but you know, we got her name wrong. It turns out her name is not Olivia Prospect, it's actually Olivia Student. Right? So we're going to merge Olivia Prospect into Olivia Student. And now if we drill into Olivia Student, we're going to see not only the information that we captured about Olivia Prospect, which we will see, you know, so here we see this information that we took about her concern about her grades, but also all the information that we've collected about her as a student. And so now if I come back into my Brent Advisor environment, which is my advising environment, and I take a look at that pipeline that we were just looking at, Olivia Student, like I mentioned, has enrolled in fall 2023. She's in the thick of things. She's taking her classes, but she has not yet enrolled in spring 2023. So as Brent Advisor, it's my responsibility to re-enroll her. And what we see here is that because Olivia Student is a member of that population defined by this filter, she'll automatically appear in my pipeline. Right? So Olivia has automatically entered into my pipeline in the eligibility check stage of this pipeline. A couple things to call out here. Obviously, you'll notice that Olivia Student is part of this because she met the qualifications for that population. But you'll also notice that this pipeline is very different than my base recruiting pipeline. My open enrollment pipeline went through a series of stages. This pipeline is different because re-enrollment is different than recruiting and enrollment. Right? We have to check, is Olivia Student eligible to re-enroll for spring 2023? Have we performed the outreach that we need to perform? Have we had a meeting with her? Do we need to apply any custom tags to her? So here we can see the scope of our 2023, spring 2023 re-enrollment pipeline is just another process within our institution where we can move our opportunities through our different stages. So as Brent Advisor, when I'm working with Olivia Student through this re-enrollment process, you know, when I drill into Olivia Student, what I get is the ability to not just see the information about Olivia Student as a student, but also the information that I gathered about her as a prospect. Right? So when I'm looking at Olivia Student as a student, I'm also reasoning about her with all of the information that we gathered when she was a prospect. And if you think back to that picture that Alex showed a little while ago, we haven't lost any of the context that we previously had. So in this way, we can help to ensure a totally connected student experience all the way from recruiting to graduation. So hopefully that kind of gave you some insight into how those dots sort of connect and how we ensure that end-to-end experience without losing any information. Great. I'm gonna hop back into our slides here, if you bear with me for just a second. All right, so hopefully that demo was helpful to kind of understand some of these features and functionality. I wanted to spend a little bit of time talking about what's coming in 2023 as well. So there's you know, beyond the items that we've talked about and as they relate to visibility, case management, communication, assessment, we're also looking at the automations that we're going to be producing. So automations are basically going to give you the ability to attach workflows to stages. And what that means is you'll be able to define a set of rules within each stage. And as opportunities move into those stages, those rules will automatically execute. So you can think of rules as things like apply a tag to the person, enroll the person in a campaign, send a message to the person. There are also things like wait workflows. So we can do things like wait for an application to be submitted, and when it is, automatically move them to the applicant stage. Wait for a meeting to be scheduled, and when it is, automatically move them to the ready for enrollment stage. Okay? These automations will help to, again, reduce the boilerplate and to define your processes in a consistent way. Custom forms. Custom forms are going to introduce a fourth way to gather information. So we talked about the 3 ways with which you can create prospects in the system and collect information about them. Custom forms will give you the ability to create web-facing forms that you can use to solicit and collect information about prospective students or really anyone that you want. And then finally, integrations. Integrations will drive tighter and tighter integrations with the systems that you use, including systems like CFNC for applicant data. So real quick, I wanted to come back to the to that picture that Alex had previously shown. And I wanted to kind of talk through it in the context of what we just saw. So now that Ava Admissions has these pipelines, has this visibility, has this case management, has these communication tools, she is able to quickly see what work she is responsible for. Which students does she have to target? Right? How can she do her outreach? What outreach has been most effective? Brent Advisor, instead of being lost and starting from scratch with Olivia's student, now has the ability to see everything that has happened throughout, all the way from the beginning when Olivia was a prospect to now when she's enrolled in fall 2023. And Olivia is happy because she knows what to do. She has the right people working with her, and those people know who she is. She doesn't have to redefine herself for every single person that she has met at this institution. Everyone knows her history. Everyone knows what she is looking forward to. Everyone knows what she struggles with. She is a whole person that is known and appreciated by everyone at the institution. All right, so hopefully that was helpful to kind of understand the scope of the CRM tool, especially around pipelines, populations, and campaigns. Now I'd like to hand it back over to Heather, who's going to talk a little bit about the work that we're doing in North Carolina.
Awesome.
Heather, over to you.
Yeah. Let me see. Can you hear me, Nicole?
Yep. Yes, we
okay,
can.
Good. Well, thanks so much, Nicole and Alex. Oh my goodness, that was great information. And we're really excited to help our college partners really to fill that gap that we talked about to better support those students holistically. So we're also very excited that we now have 6 of the North Carolina Community College institutions that have similar visions for this as well, to really have that single solution across the student life cycle that we've been talking about today. So these are our first SS&E, formerly Aviso schools, to join us and really act as that partner community for 2-year institutions in the system to move this model forward. So we've talked a lot about this today, but our goal as a company, and especially in this project, is to really listen and learn from our customers, as well as the entire Watermark suite, and making sure that it supports both the institutions and the North Carolina community college system in general there. So I do want to take a few minutes before we wrap up and talk about why this partner community is so important, and to allow our guest, Dr. Watts from McDowell Technical Community College, to provide some perspective on how they're supporting the holistic approach for the student journey from prospect to enrollment. Do want to level set here. I know Alex already mentioned about our partnership with Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, but if we go back a few years ago, our team saw a need for our partner institutions to bridge that gap that we've talked about and really provide this better holistic student support. And as it turned out, so did Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. They had a similar aligned goal for higher ed. And it was one where there was a single view and experience from prospect to enrollee that you saw and you heard today. And really, how could that process be more streamlined and contribute to understanding the likelihood of student success? So with that opportunity, we were able to partner with McDowell Tech. They had some similar challenges, and we're trying to solve those through their QEP and strategic initiatives. So for the last year, we were fortunate enough to be selected in a year-long demonstration project with the Gates Foundation, and also to partner with McDowell Tech to see this through and to build out the functionality. So you'll see it here on the slide, the concept, the rising tide raises all ships. We think that's so important, so that way we can take the work that we're doing and really learn and make that available to all of higher education. And that's really the goal with the Gates Foundation, is that they that we can join forces with them and with others to really change higher education landscape and improve the student experience. So, and we're grateful for that, to be in the position to help. So with that said, we prepared some questions, and we'd love Dr. Watts to provide us some perspective. Dr. Watts, over to you.
Thank you, Heather. And thank you for giving me the opportunity to share with North Carolina what the Viso Watermark team has done to help us here at McDowell Tech. As Heather said, our QEP, we wanted to focus on the student experience, going through registration, orientation, through the advising model, and then focusing on retention, and then also helping them at the very end to take that next step to reach their goal. And the piece that we were missing was the recruitment piece. And so when Viso/Watermark came and said, would you be willing to look at the recruiting piece, we jumped on that and said, that now gives us our entire life cycle for a student. And so, as a 2-year community college institution, we all just know that we are here for the student, and that we want to make sure that every student or even potential student is given the dignity and the respect and every opportunity that they can possibly have to be successful in their educational journey. And we, as an institution, and those of us who work there, and even Watermark and Viso, are all committed to that. And I know each and every one of you who are listening are also very committed to that, to making sure that our students are getting the best experience possible, and that they're not falling through the cracks, that we are meeting their needs, over helping them overcome any barriers that they might have to the educational process. We are a small institution. We have about 1,100 students here. We have a small staff at McDowell Tech, so we do a lot of things by hand, and we wear many, many hats. And so to be able to use software to make our job easier, more streamlined, and the work smarter, not harder. That's what it's all about. So we've just been thrilled with our journey with Watermark, and just know, as I said earlier, we didn't implement until January. So we're still very new at this, but I want to tell you, they have held our hand the entire way. Any questions that we have, the support is always there. We just appreciate the partnership, because what's really cool about Watermark is the people that you've listened to today, Alex and Heather and McCool, they have a strong education background, and they understand the experiences that our students experience, and even those of us on the staff and faculty, they understand what experiences we have and what is needed to help a student be successful. And so with them having that educational background, that's just a unique feature and a neat, what do you want to say? A great attribute for a company to have that wants to work with the community colleges and higher education in general. We were doing our early alerts by hand. We were sending them out manually. We have been keeping Google Sheets of prospective students. We keeping a Google Sheet of who has applied. all of that stuff. And so with using Watermark, we have been able to streamline that and automate that. What we love about the feature is that you can put things in manually, as McCool showed. You could put it in manually, or you could automate it. So it meets your needs, whichever way you need to do it at any particular time. So that's very helpful. Another thing that we love is the scheduling. You can schedule certain things to happen along the way. So again, that's part of the streamlining. And so if you want to have messages sent out at a certain time, you can go ahead and plan that ahead of time. If you want it done at a regular points throughout the semester or through the year, it'll do that as well. So one of the big things, I will tell you this, is that Watermark, especially Heather, sat down with us and went through, when do we communicate with a student? What are those points, and how do we communicate with students? And just trying to work through that process of the multiple times that you talked with a student, whether it was through text or whether it was through email or whatever, how many times do you do that? And are you doing it effectively? And can you get a response? Can you get those analytics? And we were not able to do any of that without the Watermark, the SS&E. We're able to get our analytics. Let me throw out a for instance. We did a campaign back for the fall semester, fall 22. We made a filter. McCool showed you how to create a filter. We created a filter of those students who were enrolled in the spring of 2022, but had not yet registered for fall. And so we sent that out to about 400 students. And it was a campaign. And so we dolled it up with our logos and a nice picture and all that. And it has what they call a hero button. And that hero button is an action button. It wants them to do something. And we wanted them to contact their advisor and get registered. We ended up with over 40% of our students that we sent that to that reacted and responded to that and got registered. And so we're looking at probably about $70,000 that we were able to pull in, when you look at with that re-enrollment, where we may have lost those students otherwise. So that, it's a cool feature to be able to use this. It's very powerful. And so we're looking forward to being able to use it in the future in more and more ways. We've got that. I'm going to be handing over the torch to someone else here very soon. I'm retiring at the end of this year, but we're all excited about what the future is going to hold. And the Watermark team has already been training my successors and making sure that they're going to be ready to go without losing any momentum whatsoever. And that's what this Watermark's all about, is creating that momentum. Can you keep it moving? Can you keep things going? Can you get your prospect list in there and get your enrollment up and then follow them all the way through? And we just could not be happier with what we have discovered about ourselves, but also what Watermark has done for us and for our students. And another thing, the students find it easy to use. A lot of them have downloaded as an app. Watermark also has a student app that allows those students to follow what they're doing and also be able to set up meetings with advisors. So there are lots and lots of features that are available. So it makes it easy for the student. You can also connect resources that are needed, whether it's with a food pantry, whether it's with the student assistance program, whether they need transportation. You can, any faculty or staff can connect a student with those resources very quickly using the SS&E. So I know that was a short kind of recap of what we've done. Heather, was there anything else you wanted me to touch on, or Alex?
I think that was great, Dr. Watts. We appreciate your passion, all your hard work, and I know you asked Alex also, but maybe Alex will have a few words there too.
Yeah, Dr. Watts, thank you. And as you ride off into the sunset, into retirement, we're all cheering for you as well. So enjoy.
We're mad you're leaving us.
Yeah.
I have thoroughly enjoyed my time. I really have. I love the North Carolina Community College system and what we can do for our students and our community. And it has been an honor to work here at McDowell Tech for the 25 years. And so I'm going to miss it, but I have thoroughly enjoyed my time and really feel like it has been a worthwhile mission.
Absolutely. And just think of all the many students that you've impacted. So I thank you on behalf of all of them, that's for sure. So I know we're a little bit over the hour, and I know everyone is probably eager to go to their next meeting or lunch, but we do have a few minutes that we can answer any questions. So if you want to put those in the chat or just unmute yourself and talk, McCool and Alex and myself and Dr. Watts will be available for some questions. So feel free to go ahead and do that. And in the meantime, I do not want to forget that if your institution would like to learn more or would like to have more of a specific demo for your institution, please reach out to one of us or your Watermark representative. They will be able to get you set up, and we'll make sure we'll schedule time with you. Questions?
You were just so thorough.
I know it, and we cut into their lunchtime, so we did get a couple of questions in chat, so thank you, Alex, for answering those. And I'm just looking, I've got multiple screens going here. I don't see any others. Oh, good, we get some thank you.
I think that's it. No other questions in the chat.
No, I think we've answered them all.
Yeah, you have. Been very thorough.
Well, we appreciate you inviting us over, and we hope this was helpful to all of the schools. So
it was, and I will say that the community college system thanks Watermark for taking this time today to provide us this presentation. Any questions you may have after this, just send them to either Heather or myself, and I'll make sure Heather gets them. And this recording will be also sent to out to the colleges, and Heather, you'll get a copy of it also.
Great.
Yeah, so yeah. So again, thank you for being here. Have a great day, and I'll give you back 22 minutes of your day.
All right.
Wonderful.
Thank you.
Thanks all. Appreciate it.
You all take care.
Thank you, everyone.
You too. Thank you.